Dr. Gerrita Postlewait became the new superintendent of Charleston County Schools in July of 2015. And since then, she's been busy, from Lincoln Middle High School to Burke High School to the budget deficit. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her one-on-one. Dr. Postlewait, it is so good to see you again.
Thank you, Quintin.
Yes, ma'am.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, I appreciate this. As we sit here right now, Charleston is still in mourning because of the passing of Marty Richard. Obviously, he was the beloved basketball coach at Burke High School. I know that you haven't been in town long enough, but I'm very sure that you know that Marty Richard's prominence was felt throughout the entire community, including Charleston County School District. Where are you emotionally right now?
I think the whole school district was impacted by the death. It's one thing to know of a hero who served from afar, who passes away, but when it's someone who's so revered by so many, it leaves a dent in people's understanding of who we are and how we come together and what we do. So emotionally for me, I have great respect and admiration, envy and awe of the person who could leave so much community togetherness in his wake.
Yes.
And hope that we will be successful in keeping that sort of spirit of togetherness and teamwork alive.
Let me turn to the hurricane makeup days.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's what, January 5th and June 5th?
January 2nd.
And June 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Why are those particular days in your mind?
Well, when every school district in South Carolina develops a calendar for the following year, they're required to establish 3 makeup days in the calendar. And October 21st, June 2nd, and June 5th were the 3 days that were designated last year when the calendar was developed.
Wow. And let me move over to Hurricane Matthew. Obviously, that made its presence known here in Charleston for at least 2 days. Talk to me about what was it like to see that? Because I know you have dealt with a lot of hurricanes working in Horry County and whatnot.
We were very privileged this time to have advance notice. We were a little surprised when the governor's office contacted school districts on Tuesday and said to get ready, particularly those along the coast. But in retrospect, it was a great decision. It allowed us to get our people out safely, get our buildings all protected. We have tremendous staff. 140 of our employees worked all 5 days.
Wow.
The only day they weren't on the job, not all of 140 weren't on the job,
Yeah.
was the actual night of the hurricane, Friday night. But they were cooking in the kitchen in the shelters. They secured the buildings. They were out immediately after the storm to start the cleanup. And as a result, we only missed 1 day of school and were able to start back so that for those families that were impacted terribly, we could at least continue some normalcy for the children who were able to come to school.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which governance, I believe this was an editorial in the Post and Courier a couple of days ago. It says this, quote, "Let the next school board decide the governor's plans," unquote. What do you say about that?
I think every school board should decide their own governance plan. I think this board made a wise decision in deferring any change until the new board comes on. The board will begin studying the policies month by month. The first set of policies that they're going to look at are the policies that define how they want to come together as a board, how they want to conduct business, how they see their role versus the superintendent's role. I know that board members have said they want to reach out to the public more to conduct their meetings in various communities so that they get a sense of the differences that exist.
Right.
And they want to be able to listen to a broader base of voices throughout the community.
Let's stay on the Charleston County School Board. I know you've been here for almost, it's now a year, fully. But when you think of the Charleston County School Board, what sticks out to you?
I think the Charleston County School Board has the potential to be one of the most effective publicly elected boards for whom I've ever worked. They've done a great job this past year of managing through a difficult financial situation. They pulled together with the budget. They made some difficult decisions about programs to reduce or cut. They made a courageous decision to increase the resources that were coming into the district so that they could sustain as much as possible. And they've shown a great deal of discipline in establishing really clear expectations for student achievement results, so that despite the fact that we had some challenges with resources, they've put front and center of their agenda the readiness of students to step out of Charleston County Schools and step productively into various roles in our own community or in higher education.
Speaking of which, describe to me the following one word: Pattinsons Academy.
Pattinsons Academy is a unique opportunity for children who need intensive therapy to come together. I had not seen a place like that in any place I've worked in the country.
Right.
Struggling financially, hopefully a good partnership with the district will allow the academy to get back on its feet financially and continue the kinds of intensive supports that they're able to provide for children.
Lincoln Middle High School.
Lincoln Middle High School was an extremely difficult decision. The choice had to be between doing what we know would help a number of children have more opportunities and access than they could ever possibly have had at Lincoln, and making a decision that disappointed a lot of people and impacted a community clearly in significant ways.
Jane Edwards School.
Jane Edwards is a really interesting elementary school on Edisto.
Right.
The difference in Jane Edwards is the age of the children involved.
Right.
I think there are 60-some, maybe 70 children at Jane Edwards.
Wow.
In grades K through 5. So it's a challenging, small school to keep open financially, but it has tremendous support from its community. Many, many volunteers who work in the school every day. So we're open and honest about wanting to, and receptive, I should say,
Sure.
to suggestions from the community about how we continue to make Jane Edwards a viable option, particularly for such young children.
Let me walk back down memory lane to, I guess, July of last year. We were still mourning because of the tragedy next door at Mother Emanuel. And obviously, the Charleston County School Board at the time needed a new superintendent to lead the school district. You came in under controversy, unfortunately. When you look back to then to right now, what still plays in your mind?
I think what was really helpful for me was coming in a situation where I could not take anything for granted, where a lot of people didn't trust the process. They didn't know whether to trust me, and whatever respect I might get, whatever we might achieve together, had to be earned. And that's a good way to start out, assuming that everyone has question marks, and that we need to start by understanding, by making it clear we're here to serve,
Yes.
by putting children first, by looking for community members who are anxious to come together and talk about what together we can do for children,
Right.
putting aside the differences of viewpoint, opinion, experience. And that's always the challenge. So I would have wished not to have had so many questions raised about my own participation or the board's intentions. The process was flawed. I think all the board members would say that. But in retrospect, like many difficult times, it turned out to be a gift of sorts.
Wow. You say trust. Who did you trust at the time when you came here?
Who did I trust?
As far as confidence in dealing with the whole controversy, and who did you look to?
I assumed I could start out by trusting everyone.
Okay.
And the conversations I had, for the most part, weren't about people. They were about children, trying to focus on results, and then trying to find out who was really anxious to come together to help in significant ways, who was willing to inconvenience himself,
Right.
who was willing to put aside controversy and difference
Right.
to find common cause. So it's not easy to figure out whom to trust, and there were times when I thought we were having a sincere conversation with maybe a staff member, and then found out the staff member really would prefer not to work in the circumstances in which we found ourselves. And I'm sure they felt betrayed by changes in the process too. So it's just a matter of earning the opportunity of asking people to suspend judgment until we have a chance to see what we can do together. And there were many people in the Ministerial Association who stepped forward and reached out an olive branch and said, you weren't my choice for the position, but you're here, and now my objective is to make you as successful as possible, because together we need to make children as successful as possible.
Let me stay on success, because I'm thinking this: who will Dr. Gerrita Postlewait be in 2 years as superintendent?
Where I hope we are as a system in 2 years is that we're able to see for our own children how many more of them can walk into Trident Technical College and not have to take any remedial courses. How many more of our children are able to start those college courses by the time they're juniors in high school? Because particularly for those coming from deep poverty, the ability to start college courses in high school and have them paid for and graduate with, say, a year of college under your belt is a tremendous boost to getting on with life and having opportunities that you wouldn't have had. So I hope in 2 years, all of us together will say, we've been able to do something for our children. Kids and their families have more credentials that open doors for them. We're able to see that more children along the way in the system are getting ready for the challenges ahead, and that we've accomplished a sense of mission and purpose and commitment that we own collectively. So it's about collective belief and action toward the service of kids. That is a spirit that I hope we all share to a greater degree in 2 years.
Absolutely. Dr. Gerrita Postlewait, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Thank you again.
I appreciate this.
So do I.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.